I want to play the sound because I do think it is so important that President Trump refused to answer this question. Because remember, first President Trump said this was a perfect call. Then the evidence came out from the White House that President Trump indeed asked the president of Ukraine to investigate his domestic political rivals, which many experts and authorities, including former Republican Congressman Charlie Dent on this show one day ago, said is a clear abuse of power. President Trump has said he did nothing wrong. Very few Republicans have been willing to come forward and say, oh yeah, this is absolutely fine. Here is Jeff Mason, an excellent and mild-mannered reporter with Reuters, asking President Trump, what did you want President Zelensky to investigate about former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter? Take a listen.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, it was just a follow-up of what I just asked you, sir.
Listen, you ready? We have the president of Finland. Ask him a question.
I have one for him. I just wanted to follow up on the one that I asked you, which was,
did you hear
what
me?
did you want
Did you hear me?
Yes,
Ask
sir.
him a question.
I will, but
I've given you a long answer. Ask this gentleman a question. Don't be rude.
In case of emergency, break glass, and the president of Finland is underneath that glass. But I mean, but why not answer the question if it's perfect, if there's nothing wrong with it?
Here's what's so remarkable, and I'm so glad you played that. We've all had experiences with the president interviewing the president. Well, maybe not you, but most of us.
But I envy you so much.
And we've watched so many times when the thing about him is he always answers the question. The fact that he didn't answer that question is because he didn't want to.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg has now announced her 4th bout of cancer. How have the justices responded to the notorious RBG?
Well, I mean, we all adore Ruth Bader Ginsburg and wish her nothing but the best and look forward to seeing her on the bench very soon. I can tell you she provided a very warm welcome for me when I arrived here. A long time ago, I had been a law clerk to Byron White, the first justice from Colorado. And when he retired, I was his law clerk. And one of the things the justice was doing when I arrived was gathering together his law clerk manual, which was a bit messy, and trying to put it in neat form to provide it to his successor, who was Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And we provided that to her. And he wrote something typically humble, like, I don't know if this will be any help, but in case you find it useful, here are my notes for my law clerks that I give them every year. Well, fast forward about 25 years, whatever it was, my first week on the court, what do I receive? A note in my inbox along with a big binder saying, you may recognize some of this. I hope I've improved a little bit since you've last seen it.
Let me ask you, your old boss, Byron White, he said every time a new member comes on the court, the whole court changes. How did the court change with Justice Brett Kavanaugh?
Well, I've known Justice Kavanaugh for 40 years. He's a good friend, and it was delightful to have him come on the court. He's been a great addition. We had a little bit of fun when he arrived, too. One tradition of the court is that the junior justice has to arrange the welcome dinner for the new incoming junior justice. Justice Kagan did a marvelous job with mine, and she had a chef come in and provide this incredible, lavish Indian dinner for us. It was magnificent. But I've known Justice Kavanaugh, as I say, a long time, and I knew he's kind of a meat and potatoes kind of guy, so dinner was going to be a little boring, and I had to do something on the entertainment front to make things more interesting. And I wasn't sure how it was going to go over, to be honest with you. But the Washington Nationals, he's a big fan of the baseball team. And their mascots are these, they call them the presidents, and they race around, and they have giant foam heads. And so I didn't tell anybody, because I figured it might be better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And we had a couple of them in the Great Hall, and we had a race.
On Norway's west coast, the sea for centuries has delivered a bounty, from fisheries to oil to cruise tourism. But with big industry comes an impact on the environment, which cruise company Hurtigruten has been trying to offset with a new fleet of hybrid ships. The company's move to hybrid comes ahead of a sea change in the industry itself. Come January, sulfur from heavy fuel oil will have to be a fraction of what it was for decades, setting off a scramble in the industry for solutions. These engine rooms will soon be transformed to a new hybrid system, combining marine gas oil with electric battery packs and even biogas. produced from organic waste from Norway's fisheries and forests.
Our aim is to show that it's possible, that we can build the world's first hybrid-powered cruise ship with batteries, that we can be the first ones to start using biogas from a circular economy, and then we expect other ones to pick it up.
While Hurtigruten has a relatively small fleet and smaller vessels than the giant cruise liners, some holding 10 times the passengers, its CEO is hoping his company will have a giant role influencing the industry, with over a century of experience in these pristine waters.
We are so close to the Arctic communities. We've seen climate change happen over the last 15, 20 years directly in front of our eyes. So we have a massive drive from our people to lead this technological shift.
This is the battery racks. All the batteries go in. You slide them in.
Rune Andreasen is one of Hurtigruten's most experienced sea captains and has now been brought back on shore to project manage construction of the newest hybrid.
We didn't see a lot of change. And then people are saying, look, climate change is a real threat. Shipping has a role.
Yeah, of course. Big role because there's a lot of vessels worldwide, still burning heavy fuel. It's, if you asked me 10 years ago, I will never say that this is possible on an ocean-going vessel. But now we are here, and I think it's just the beginning.
Is the industry too focused on the bottom line and almost addicted to heavy fuel oil?
So we have chosen as a company to be in the forefront, to lead, and not wait for the regulations. And when the investors start requiring change, things will happen.
Perhaps not smooth sailing for the industry as regulations take hold, but clearly a smaller player is out to chart a new course. John Defterius, CNN, Norway.